Some games are remembered for high scores, thrilling finishes, or unforgettable close calls. But then, there are games that stand the test of time because one player was at her merciless best, leaving an indelible mark on the court and on her opponents. Today, that player is none other than Caitlin Clark. These are the defining moments where Clark didn't just defeat her competition, she humiliated them, leaving fans and players alike in awe of her extraordinary talent. Let's kick things off by going back to that epic showdown between Iowa and Michigan. Clark, feeling the rhythm from the start, decided to give her defender a little dance lesson. The Michigan defender, trying her best to keep up, swayed right along with her, only for Clark to casually pull up from the logo and drop a bomb. Sending Michigan packing with a decisive loss. It was a masterclass in dominance, and Clark walked off the court with 40 points and a grin, cementing her status as one of the deadliest shooters in the game. But that was just the beginning. As Clark transitioned into the WNBA, the stakes got higher, the lights brighter, and the challenges more intense. But did that slow her down? Absolutely not. On her grand WNBA debut, Clark showed up like a superhero, going coast to coast with ease. When Bonner met her at the rim, attempting to stop her drive,
thought about pulling up from three, will dip inside and lay it in. There are the first points in the WNBA career.
She might as well have been a traffic cone for all the resistance she put up. Clark hesitated for a moment, thought about pulling up for three, then decided to take it to the hoop, laying it in effortlessly. Bonner was left standing, hands up, watching in disbelief as Clark notched her first points in what would soon become a legendary WNBA career. Clark often finds herself targeted on the court, but if you think that phases her, think again. Take the game against the Phoenix Mercury, for instance. Sophie Cunningham, known for her physical play, thought a shove would throw Clark off her game as she drove toward the basket. But nope, Clark turned that shove into an and-one moment.
Clark sinks the screen and got the layup and one. Off the strong side, she's kicking it for a three.
She finished the layup with perfect finesse, then stepped to the line to sink the free throw. Cunningham was left shaking her head, and the crowd roared as Clark once again showcased her resilience and poise under pressure. That's what they call the Caitlin Clark effect, unstoppable, even when facing extra physicality from defenders who try and fail to knock her off her rhythm. And speaking of the Caitlin Clark effect, let's talk about Allen's unforgettable encounter with it. During one play, Clark decided it was time for Allen to take a quick break, basketball style.
Allen. Clark, she dropped Allen. Out though.
Years and years of perfecting that.
Look at it.
I mean, this is just...
As Clark launched a deep shot from beyond the arc, Allen was left watching helplessly as the ball sailed toward the rim. Sure, the shot didn't drop, but Allen still got a front row seat to Clark's shooting clinic. The mere act of launching the ball from that distance left the audience buzzing and Allen second-guessing every decision she made in that possession. Then came a much-anticipated showdown with Sabrina Ionescu and the New York Liberty.
Triple-double for a rookie. Caitlin Clark has it. More history for the Fever rookie.
Now, what's better than breaking records? Doing it in front of someone who's set a few herself. Caitlin Clark didn't just step onto the court that day, she took over. Clark delivered a masterclass in record-breaking, securing a triple-double in her rookie year, something that even Sabrina couldn't achieve during her first season. And Sabrina could only watch as Clark rewrote the record books right in front of her. But if you thought Clark's dominance was reserved for the WNBA, think again. Back in Iowa, she was already practically handing out invitations to her shooting exhibitions. Let's take the game against South Carolina in the 2023 Final Four, one of the most anticipated matchups in recent NCAA history. South Carolina came into the game undefeated with a 36-0 record, but they hadn't faced anyone like Caitlin Clark.
And look at how far Caitlin Clark is playing off of Raven Johnson.
Daring her.
The basketball. Watch Caitlin Clark, left side. She doesn't even look at her. Waves her hand as if to say, I don't care about you.
Now, who could forget Clark's iconic encounter with Angel Reese during the 2023 NCAA Finals? After LSU won, Reese gave Clark the "you can't see me" taunt and flashed her ring, leaving an indelible moment of triumph and rivalry.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
That taunt stung, but if there's one thing about Caitlin Clark, it's that she always gets the last word. Fast forward to 2024, and it was time for the rematch. Iowa versus LSU, Clark versus Reese. But this wasn't just any game. It was a chance for redemption. Caitlin Clark didn't just play. She came prepared for war. With 41 points, 12 assists, and 9 three-pointers, Clark was a one-woman wrecking crew.
Standing offensive rebounding team.
Clark, cut it!
She has more size and length.
Clark, you bet! Catch, fire, and hit! Clark was trying to redirect a pass. Clark, oh my! Wheels around, evades Van Lith, and drains it! My goodness! UCLA game, that's how sick she was. Clark!
She contributed to 80% of Iowa's field goals, leaving LSU players scrambling to keep up. At one point, Reese tried to help on defense, only to stretch out her arm in vain as Clark sank yet another three-pointer.
Here's Martin. Clark, again coming off the screens. Clark steps back, fires, you bet!
Times when you just can't avoid talking about length, hand in her face, drains it anyway.
From the first whistle, Clark was involved in nearly every Iowa possession. Whether it was through her impeccable passing or her deadly shooting, she had a hand in 31 of Iowa's 38 first-half points, accounting for a jaw-dropping 75% of the team's total offense. By the time the dust settled, Clark had poured in 41 points, handing South Carolina their only loss in 2 seasons. It wasn't just a victory, it was a dismantling, and Caitlin Clark was the architect. Meanwhile, Haley Van Leith, who had chased Clark all over the court, could only offer a wide-eyed expression as another shot rained down from downtown.
Here's Clark. Clark pulls up, another deep one, is good!
Caitlin Clark once again dancing with the basketball, seeing it go through the net.
But Caitlin Clark's reign of terror isn't limited to opposing players either. She even had the referees in her crosshairs. During one game, after sinking a massive three-pointer, Clark was hit with a technical for taunting. But rather than lose her cool, Clark calmly saw her coach getting into a heated argument with the refs. Like a seasoned diplomat, she stepped in, gently guiding her coach away and telling her, "Relax, I've got this."
But because of the proximity to where Tanya Warren was standing, where the UNI players are standing, they're just not going to let you get away with that. But we'll never know. I can't read her lips.
Moments later, she delivered on her words, stealing the ball and hitting a step-back three, reminding everyone why she's one of the most composed and lethal players on the court.
And with the basketball, little inside out, and it's good.
Clark's shooting prowess often steals the headlines, but let's not overlook her playmaking abilities. In a game against the Las Vegas Aces, the Sparks defense took a brief nap, but Clark was wide awake. With pinpoint precision, she threaded a pass through a sea of defenders, landing perfectly in Wallace's hands for an easy layup. The Sparks defense was left standing in dismay as the ball zipped through their ranks, further highlighting Clark's incredible court vision. Of course, her record-breaking moments go beyond just a few games.
What a pass. And Wallace.
Back at Iowa, when Clark was just 6 points shy of breaking the NCAA scoring record, she didn't just break it, she shattered it. In a game against Michigan, Clark scored the first 8 points for her team, setting the tone for a jaw-dropping performance. And for the record breaker, she sank a three from near half court. No hesitation, no second thoughts, just pure confidence and flair.
And both of these teams very willing and capable of pushing in transition and scoring quickly.
Here's Clark working around Fletcher. Caitlin.
Similarly, in a game against Ohio State, Clark didn't need much space to operate. With a quick logo three, she cashed in a bucket that left her defender staring in disbelief.
There's so much opportunity in transition. Caitlin Clark needs no space. Cashes in. Come on, 22. Are you not into?
It's moments like these that cement Clark's reputation as one of the deadliest shooters in the game. In the WNBA, when Colorado's defense crowded the paint, Clark had other ideas. With her signature hold my beer attitude, she effortlessly launched another logo three, hitting nothing but net.
Clark, can she answer? Court.
Against the Suns, she cooked the entire team with a deep bomb, catching the defenders scrambling back as she was already pulling up from the logo. And then there's the infamous "Welcome to the WNBA" moment for Richards from the Washington Mystics. She had barely stepped onto the court when she found herself face to face with a nightmare. Caitlin Clark pulling up from the logo. Before Richards could even react, the ball was through the net. Welcome to the WNBA, courtesy of Clark. As if that weren't enough, Clark put Samantha Whitcomb on skates in a game, with her dribbling and driving, leaving Whitcomb sliding all over the court, struggling to keep up.
Had an open look from three, didn't take it. Only three to shoot. Gonna have to make something happen. Clark through the lane, reverses it in.
Every screech of her sneakers echoed as Clark danced her way to yet another highlight reel play. From her record-breaking shots to her show-stopping playmaking, Caitlin Clark has proven time and again why she's one of the most electrifying and captivating players in basketball history. Whether it's dropping defenders to the floor, sinking impossible threes, or threading perfect passes through a defense, Caitlin Clark is making history every time she steps on the court. If you've enjoyed reliving these jaw-dropping moments of Clark's dominance, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on more incredible content.